Good morning, YouTubers. This morning I'm going to show you guys what I've learned with Faber-Castell's Pitt pens and how I blend them. I couldn't really find too many video tutorials on how to blend the Pitt pens, so I just thought I'd kind of put one together for you real quick. So for those of you who don't know what these are, this is the 60 count set. Alright, sorry about that. So this is the 60 count set box, and they kind of come out like in a tier, so you can set them on their side if you want. I've got all the colors I'm using in this tutorial laid out already. So they come in a 60 count box and I think a 40 count box. And I want to say the 40 count box either doesn't come with the grays or the skin tones, but I might be wrong about that. You can also purchase these individually, so they are open stock. And I also want to say that the colors actually match the polychromo pencils. So if you have a polychromo pencil by Faber-Castell, permanent green olive is going to match your pencil. So that's definitely a plus, something well thought out. They're also water-based pencils. They're not alcohol-based. So if you're using the right paper, they're not going to bleed. And they come with a brush tip instead of a nub or nib. And I've been told, I haven't tried this yet, that if your tip frays out or you've just used it so much that it's not a nice fine point anymore, you can actually pull it out and flip it over. The other side has a brush tip as well. As I said a minute ago, depending on the paper you use, you might get gradation, which is kind of where the paper starts to, I call it shredding, I don't know, but it's where you can start seeing pieces of the paper lift up and become grainy, and that's because they're water-based. So I found that on some of the cardstock that has a whole lot more tooth, you probably don't want to use it, like on Secret Garden. It seemed to work okay on Enchanted Forest and Lost Ocean for me, but not Secret Garden. So let's go ahead and get started and make sure I'm on camera. And this is going to be like the second take. That's why you see two rows. The first time around I had it flipped backwards, so I just decided to do it over for you guys. So on the green, I'm using a light, medium, and dark. So you can see here. And when I do this, I start with all of my pens open because you're going to want to work with them when they're wet. So your lightest color is going to be what you use to actually blend the three colors with. So here's what I do. I start with the light as my base. And on printer paper, this can be kind of hard to work with because it's so smooth, but I'm going to try. And then you're going to take, you might even let that bottom base color dry a little bit, depending on the paper that you're working with. But then you take your medium and you come in like this on top of it. See how, because it's so smooth, it's kind of just pushing it. And once you get that medium down, you're going to pull that, you're going to bring that light back. And you're going to use it to, kind of like a blender pencil, to kind of pull the darker or the medium into the light. This is hard to do sideways, guys, sorry. And then I'm going to come back in with the dark. So you can see how well those blend, and they do take some getting used to. They are tricky. So I've run into quite a few people who have bought these, and the first time they use them, they're like, I hate them. And it's just because they haven't really sat down and tried to figure out how to use them. Kind of like with color pencils, you can get an artist grade pencil so that you can learn how to blend, but if you don't learn the different blending techniques and you're just using them the same way, like if you get the Prismacolor softcore pencils and then you start using them just like they're Crayolas, it's not going to work and you're going to hate them because you're going to have a waxy layer that you just can't. I don't know what the problem is here. Worked just fine up there. You have to work with it. It's a skill, it's a technique, it's learned. It's not something that you just pick up right away. Don't know what is going on with my pens. They worked fine just a minute ago. Maybe I just use those colors too much. Because I really do like to use them when I color like leaves and whatnot. I like these blues. I've been coloring in Where's Waldo, and I use the blues for the jeans because there's a lot of country folk in the picture that I'm using. So this is my blues. It's almost like the paper is shiny, so it's not wanting to do right. So you can kind of see how I pull it down, make it blend with that lighter color. Now there is actually another way you can do this. Let me see if I can give you guys a good example. Or if it'll let me. This paper is really bad. So I'll use another. But you can do the basic same technique here. And then instead of blending it down like I did that, you can actually use the lighter to pull it down and kind of give it some streaks. Like that. I think that looks really bad. Like I said, I've just started using these myself. I just wanted to show you guys that they're actually blendable. They do work. Let's see. Oops, let me leave that open. No, it's pretty much the same color. I mean, it's not. There's a subtle difference, but